Hey, it's Ed Franklin with the Raising 10 podcast. Let's talk holidays, where joy meets chaos and your patience meets expiration date. You've got tangled lights, burnt cookies, and that one relative who still thinks it's okay to bring fruitcake. I'm diving into the good, the bad, and did that really just happen? Moments of the season. Tune in, laugh with me, cry if you must, but whatever you do not forget the batteries for the toys. Let's go. Good morning, podcast listeners. This is Ed Franklin with the Ed Franklin No Limits podcast. This is Raising 10, episode 4, and we're going to discuss the holidays today. What it was like when I was a child, what it was like when I was raising kids, and what it's like now. So you can always get a hold of me through social media channels. I don't need to go over all that. I hope you are excited about the holidays. It's my favorite time of the year, without a doubt. I used to drive my coworkers crazy by putting Christmas music on in June because I just love the season. And I hope you do too. It's a nice time of joy and faith and hope and all these things. And besides the commercialization that has been taking place over the last 100 years, it's still a wonderful time of the year. You know, when I was a kid, I don't know how my parents even pulled off having a Christmas. We just had zero money, and but we always had this fabulous time during Christmas, and we always got what we wanted or got. We always appreciated what we got as kids, and we were so excited and couldn't sleep and all those things when we were kids. And I think we created that for our kids. You know, the flip side to that is it's stressful for parents, right? And I know that you all, if you're parents, you're going through it. If you have been a parent, you went through it. You know, you want to make sure the holiday's perfect. You want to get involved in all the holiday traditions and have a great time. And it's a time for family and it's a time for great news. And some families, unfortunately, it's not a great time. I know I saw a meme the other day that said, make sure you bring up politics during Thanksgiving because it'll save you money at Christmas. Now, we never had that as kids where we had, the drunk Uncle Joe come over and ruin things or, knock the turkey off the Thanksgiving table or anything like that. We never had those events. Generally, we were around family, cousins and aunts and uncles, and we had a great time. I will tell you a funny thing. When I was about 10 years old, two things. We were just getting ready for our 2 weeks off from school, and I was in fifth grade, and I got the mumps on the Friday before the 2 week vacation, and I was pretty much bedridden for 2 weeks. And if you've ever had the mumps, it just feels like you're really sick, and your glands are swollen, and all that. And I can remember just laying there, looking out the sliding glass window or watching three channels on TV that I had to get up and change. We didn't have remote controls back then, a black and white TV too. And I got better right around New Year's. And I remember on New Year's Day, we had some relatives over and we were out in the street playing and, doing all kinds of things. And we wanted to play baseball, but no one had a bat. So my genius uncle cut my dad's broomstick in half so we'd have a bat to play with. And my dad was going to kill him. And so now the broomstick was only like 3 feet long. So my dad made me sweep the garage. Since I let him do it, like I had any control over this adult uncle, I had to sweep the driveway for like a month with a 3 foot stick because I was the only one short enough to use it. So it was pretty funny. And I remember after that day, since I had been sitting on my ass for 2 weeks, I was so sore from going out and playing the following days. And yeah, it was pretty crazy. So when we were kids, like I said, our parents made a big deal about Christmas. We'd go out and get a tree and decorate it. And I don't remember putting lights up outside, but the house was always decorated really nice. My mom did a great job. And like I said, I don't know how they pulled it off, but we all got a lot of presents at Christmas, and it was just a joyous time. And then other times of the years we'd spend, other years we'd spend different with different people, friends maybe or relatives, like I said, and it was a wonderful time. Now, when I had kids, Christmas was so magical to me since I was a child, even before I had children. I just loved the holidays and loved the smell of the grocery store during Thanksgiving, or the trees and all the lights. It's just, and the music is just wonderful. I play it in my car right now, playing it all the time. But there were some stressful times during the holidays that I brought on myself. It really shouldn't be about gifts, and the commercial world has turned that into what it is like, to have gifts that you need to, you know, give your kids so many things at Christmas and make it perfect. And we stressed about that. There were times during Christmas when we just didn't have the money, but we figured out a way to get something, you know, begged, borrowed, stole, whatever we had to do to make sure the kids had a nice Christmas. And when they woke up in the morning, it was magical. My mom had started a tradition on New Year's Eve that all the kids would come over with their children, so her grandchildren, and we would all get together because she was really adamant about the kids waking up in their own bed on Christmas Day. And it was nice. We'd have, neighbors over and friends like that. And I continued that tradition when I was an adult, when I had a family, and we'd have neighbors. We'd have our house that have 30, 40 people in the house, and just have this wonderful time, chatting with people and finding out. But again, I knew that a lot of the parents that were there were under stress. And we used to give gifts. We used to give wine and seized candy and all this stuff when times were really good financially. And we'd have food and people would bring food, and it was just a really great time. I put the bikes together. I've assembled the things until 2 o'clock in the morning. Half in the bag because I'd been drinking with all my friends the night before. But I've done all those things, and like I said, looking back, I wouldn't change a thing about Christmas when my kids were growing up. And like I said, again, we never had anybody, and when I was an adult, that came over to the house and got drunk or got, out of hand or anything like that. Everybody was having a good time. And my nieces and nephews would come, and their kids, and it was just awesome. So I know that the holidays can be stressful. I was talking to a gal at the grocery store the other day that was making her first Thanksgiving turkey, and she had never done it before. And she was asking me on Sunday when she should buy her turkey, and I said yesterday. We were just buying ours on Sunday mornings. You need 3, 4, or 5 days to thaw out. And I cooked Thanksgiving dinner for many years on my own, and then Kit helps out, and Kit's a master of getting everything hot at the same time, which is the hardest thing about Thanksgiving. And but as we got older and the kids started having their own families, there was less and less people here for the holidays. And this year, I took on a project that has me working at night. It's a temp job. I'll tell you more about that later. So I'm really not home for the holidays, and up until now, this is Tuesday, right before Thanksgiving, and I'm working late at night. Of course, I'm off on Thanksgiving, and we'll have a small portion of our family over. But people always say to me, oh, with 20 grandkids, how are you going to afford Christmas? I said, well, we don't really buy anything for the kids because they have so much. And things are so expensive. If they want electronics and things like that, I mean, I wouldn't do it if I had the money. I wouldn't buy them all those things. And my kids are doing a very good job taking care of my grandkids. So I don't really worry about it. It's more important to me to at least see them or talk to them, or, at least do a FaceTime or something and just kind of get caught up a little bit. But I know you young parents out there are stressing out about Christmas and Thanksgiving and where you're going to go. And I've used to travel during on Thanksgiving, sometimes up north to see my sister, and that was always really fun because we'd go up there for like a week, and we're in a new area and we're not working, and we were able to go hiking and do a lot of fun things, go shopping maybe, and all that. And those times were really good. The travel was a pain in the ass a little bit coming home on Sunday after Thanksgiving, probably the heaviest travel day of the year. But we had a great time. And and I know, like, my sister didn't stress about it, but I know a lot of you out there get really wound up about Thanksgiving and or Christmas because you're entertaining guests, you're doing all these things. And I wouldn't say I don't care about that, but it's not a high priority for me because really nobody's coming over, just our normal, just two kids and their two kids. And I'll have the grandkids here, of course. And then we'll FaceTime everybody if we get an opportunity. But that stress can be pretty bad, and I see it where I'm working right now, how much money people are spending, and it's got to be a little daunting on their pocketbook, and they want to make it uh, the best. And I talked a little bit earlier in my podcast, other podcasts, about mediation and things like that and visitation. And this is a hard time for kids too, because they're probably with one parent if they're in a divorced family, and they have to deal with going to one person's house and the other person's house. And I used to always tell my kids, look, if you can't make it for the holidays, it's okay, because the holidays to me are a season. It's not a day. If they can't make it on Thanksgiving, maybe they come over the following weekend and we do something nice dinner or something like that. And same with Christmas. I want my grandkids to wake up at home just like my mom did. So if they can't come over, or if they're going to come over a day later or 2 days, it's fine. It's fine with me as long as I get to see them and we get to spend some time together and catch up. But in a divorced family, it is difficult because they'll have it laid out, maybe your visitation, and every other year you get Christmas, or every other year you get Thanksgiving. And I know it's tough on families and on the kids, because all the kids want to do is be with their mom and dad. And when I say that too, yes, the kids probably want things that have been advertised several times in front of their face. When I watched a lot of TV when I was a kid, it was just constant Christmas commercials about toys that you could get and things like that. And like I said, my parents did a really good job with that. But really, it kind of goes back to one of my original podcasts here, is that all your kids really want to do is be with you. They'd prefer to be with both parents, but if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But make sure that you're encouraging them to call their mom or dad, or at least touch base with them during the holidays, so they get that loving feeling. And because it's really all about kids. Christmas is really it's more religious to me now than it used to be, but this holiday season and all the fun and the lights and everything is really about kids. And we'll go drive through lights or walk through and take the kids because it's just so electric and I just love it. I mean, like it's like fireworks. I've seen so many fireworks show in my life, but I'll always go see another fireworks show. It's just like Christmas lights. And I used to decorate the house up. I was like Clark Griswold when we had the house in Poway, and I would put lights up and blow up things. And I mean, I'd stay out there for 2 or 3 days, sometimes stringing lights in the palm trees. And our house was definitely lit up. And then I had the musical uh, thing that played, music, and the lights would go to the music. So it was awesome to do that. And just to see the look on kids' face when they come by the house, or, on Christmas Day, it's just, I tell you, this is one of the parts of being a parent that's just amazing, or a grandparent, because they get so excited about things. And I don't think we're as religious as a society as we used to be about Christmas. And no matter what you celebrate, I hope that you all have a wonderful holiday season. Thanksgiving is an American holiday, but Christmas is a global holiday, and I hope that. And I get excited to see all the fun stuff that's going to happen. And generally, people are nicer during the season, I find. And so it's always nice to be able to, say Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or Happy Thanksgiving or whatever. So if you're anticipating a Christmas that's going to be, I know families that have stopped having Christmas parties together because of politics, especially since Trump has been in the picture. There's a lot of hatred going on both sides of the political arena. And I know people that have canceled their plans with their family because one person might bring up politics or whatever. Now, we don't talk about politics in our house. My wife and I may talk about it alone, but I don't really bring it up to any guests that come over. I don't have any interest in what their politics are, and they shouldn't have any in mine. So it's never, like I said, we never have these heated engagements, and I don't have any old uncles to come over and drink too much. So that's good. That's a good thing too. But I hope that you have the magic in the holidays. And like I said, there's a lot of things about hope and faith and all those things and wishes, and those are those things that kind of keep us going, right? The things that are kind of in the back of our mind, all the things, good things we want to happen. But the holidays, like I said, could be really stressful and a hard time for a lot of people. Now, if you've lost a relative, somebody very close to you, a friend or whatever, and this is the first Christmas, that is super tough. And I just got word of a friend of mine that her mother's very ill and may not make it to Christmas. And that's going to be even harder on that person and the family. And it's always hard for us because we have a few people that we're missing in our life that were key elements to our holidays, and I will miss them, and it changes the way holidays are. So I hope that you guys have some big plans. And if you're traveling, I would really just be safe when you're traveling because it gets crazy out there. And you can see it on the weekends already with traffic and how people are shopping. Speaking of shopping, I did the Black Friday thing once, maybe twice, where I took some of the kids that were willing to go, um, to Best Buy or wherever we were going, and we get a Starbucks in the morning, and it was fun. And we'd be out there at like 3, 4 in the morning, standing in line to get into a Best Buy, which looking back, I don't even think I bought anything. A friend of mine did when we went once, our neighbor, and his kids came too. But the kids had a great time, just people watching and doing all that. And I wouldn't do that again. I don't know. I don't need anything that bad. And by the way, the deals aren't usually that good, but it is fun, it's kind of cool to go to the mall during the holidays and just see people moving around and check it out. Um, I know this isn't much about parenting. Well, it is a lot about parenting because if you have kids, it's a big deal. It's a bigger deal than any other time of the year. And it was always for us. We were so poor when we were younger that we didn't have big meals during the year. We didn't have barbecues at our house or anything until I moved to Poway. But when I was a little kid, we didn't have any of those things going on. We would go to some people's house and hang out, but when my kids were growing up, those big meals, we had those all the time because we had so many kids, and we had the financial means to do it. And on Sunday night, we generally have a big dinner. Well, we had a big dinner all the time, but it seemed like on Sunday night, there was a little bit more, kind of, what do you guys want? And the consensus was maybe spaghetti or, whatever, meatloaf, it was a big deal. And we would put a lot of effort into those meals. So when the holiday meals came, it wasn't that big a deal. It wasn't that different than during the year. But for us as little kids, man, those were the two times you were going to get good food, like Christmas and Thanksgiving. And I've done that thing where I've eaten to the point where I was in a coma and had too much to drink, probably. And it's the worst feeling in the world, but it's the holidays, so you get to have some fun with that. So, um, this year, we have our local kids that will come over. But as far as there's a lot of kids I have, and my grandkids are out of state. But we'll FaceTime them, and we'll make sure we communicate with them. And I'm excited to watch how they put their holidays together because it's different, right? Wherever they live, so they come up with things different. My son, I think he put his Christmas tree up like 2 weeks ago, and he has this big house. He's got like a 12-foot Christmas tree, so that was up already. And I don't know, it's just a special time of the year, and I love it. And I used to be in the grocery business for a long time years ago, and there's a different smell in the grocery store, and I love that when I go to the grocery store now because it's just that holiday smell, and it's just a great time of the year. So anyway, not a long podcast, but if you're bored this weekend, this is something for you to do. You can sit and listen to my podcast. By the way, I just posted yesterday on Facebook and LinkedIn that I've had over 150,000 views on my clips over the last 90 days, which is a huge milestone for me. So it's because of all you, and I'm very grateful for that you watch my clips. I'd really like you to share my clips and like them. That's 2 clicks with your mouse or your finger on your phone. So if you have an opportunity to do that, and of course, my full episodes are on my playlist on my YouTube channel. You can just type my name in and it'll go there. And while you're there, by the way, why don't you subscribe, another click, and then you'll be notified when I do drop a podcast. So, listen, I appreciate everything. I hope all of you have the most wonderful holiday and safe. I have a great podcast dropping next week about autism, and it's going to be very interesting. This gal is very educated, and she has a personal connection to autism that you'll learn about on the podcast. So, happy holidays. Um, don't eat too much. You will, but I'll tell you anyway. Don't drink too much. You might do that too, but I'll tell you anyway. And have a fantastic holiday. This is the Ed Franklin No Limits Raising 10 podcast. I have so much more to come in the next few months, so make sure you're tuning in and keep liking, sharing. Excuse me, let's do it in order. Listening, liking, and sharing my podcast. Have a great holiday weekend and get some rest because it's going to be over too quick. Have a great holiday. Talk to you later.